Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. So, Manchester United are due to return to training tomorrow. The Premier League confirmed on a statement yesterday that clubs have voted to return to small training groups. So this is very, very positive news, and it is a step forward to restarting the season. And supposedly the season is going to be resuming sometime next month. I think it is going to be resuming on the 19th of June. So yeah. Now, don't forget, our players were at Carrington on Sunday. They were at Carrington on Sunday. The main explanation why our players were at Carrington on Sunday is to get tested for COVID-19. I think our players were at Carrington for around 15 minutes before they left. I don't think we've trained together since the 13th of March. So there you go. So some, teams are going to be returning to training from today. We informed our players anyway that we would return to training the week beginning the 18th of May. So yeah. Now, don't forget, Marcus Rashford has been visiting our training ground in the last couple of weeks. I think he's visited like twice a week in the last couple of weeks to step up his fitness regime. The last time I heard about Marcus Rashford, he was around 80% fit. Because, Rashford, sustained a back injury in January, obviously in our 1-0 win against Wolves in the FA Cup third round replay. And like I said to Rashford's been a big miss for Manchester United. And like I said, he's one of our best players. And he was one of our best players earlier on in the season before he got this back injury and that. So yeah, so when the season does resume, Marcus Rashford is going to be fully fit. Paul Pogba, he's also going to be back as well, because Paul Pogba has been out with an ankle injury and his appearances have been limited due to his injuries. He's only played 8 times this season for the football club as Paul Pogba. But yeah, Solskjaer did confirm anyway a couple of weeks ago that we will have a fully fit squad for when the season does resume. Don't forget, Man United and Tottenham is going to be the first Premier League game back, and it's going to be live on Friday Night Football. So yeah, so this is very, very good news. As you all know already, the Bundesliga has already returned. So that's the latest news on that. So now let's delve into some transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United and that, like I do on a regular basis. So going to give you some additional information on Erling Haaland. I've been talking with you about Erling Haaland on a regular basis. Also going to give you the latest news on Raul Jimnez, give you a bit more additional information on him. Then I'm going to give you the latest news on Ford, Ballo, Toure from Monaco and that. So there you go. So let's start with the news on Erling Haaland. So, reportedly, Borussia Dortmund have revealed their asking price for Erling Haaland. Reportedly, they want around £107 million before the summer of 2022. So if they are to sell him before 2022, they want £107 million. But I'll reiterate what I said yesterday on one of my videos. I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United will sign Erling Haaland this summer. Very, very sceptical about it indeed. And so too, I'm sceptical that Real Madrid will sign Erling Haaland in the summer, because Real Madrid are actually planning to sign Haaland and Kylian Mbappe next summer. Now, I think Erling Haaland's release clause is around £63 million, and that becomes active, I think, either next summer or is it the summer of 2022 when his release clause does become active. Now, according to reports as well, Borussia Dortmund have a verbal agreement with Erling Haaland's agent, Mino Raiola, to keep Haaland at Dortmund at least until the summer of 2022. Now, another one of the main explanations why I don't think we'll get him in the summer is because, obviously, Borussia Dortmund will want to keep hold of him. Dortmund only signed Haaland in the January transfer window. Dortmund paid £17 million for Erling Haaland. So it was a cheap solution. And obviously, he signed a contract with Dortmund until 2024. Now, I've got to make an admission. I think Haaland has been a revelation since his arrival in Germany. I think he's got a good 14 goals in his last 13 games or something like that. over 40 goals in all competitions this season, you know, including the goals that I scored in his spell with Red Bull Salzburg. But I did say to you, didn't I, you know, it was a shame that Manchester United didn't sign Erling Haaland in January because, like I said, you know, it would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. And obviously Solskjaer has worked with the player during his time with Molde. You know, Solskjaer gave Erling Haaland his debut at Molde at just the age of 16. You know, Solskjaer was keen on a reunion with Erling Haaland. But, you know, the main explanations why we didn't get Erling Haaland is because, you know, there's been uncertainty over Solskjaer's future. Obviously, you know, we've had no Champions League football to offer. In January, you know, Solskjaer and Ed Woodward went up to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to discuss a possible move to Manchester United. And Haaland is only at the age of 19. He also revealed that he rejected Juventus in January because Juventus were willing to put him in their under-23 squad. But I'd definitely take Erling Haaland at Manchester United. I really, really would. Don't forget, back in February, Solskjaer did not break the rule by talking about players from other clubs. So he didn't talk about any players from other clubs in that. So there you go. But back in January, Erling Haaland was our #1 priority target. Maybe he could end up going to Real Madrid, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, we won't get Erling Haaland this summer. But I think he'll be a good adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku because we're in search for a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Because obviously, you know, we let Lukaku leave the football club last summer after he endured, 2 years at Manchester United. We let Lukaku go for 72 million to Inter Milan. So we did recruit the vast majority of the 75 million that were paid for him from Everton, but in reality, I think we made a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku. So there you go. So yeah, so that is the news on Erling Haaland. That's the news on Erling Haaland. Now let's talk with you a bit about Raul Jimnez from Wolves. So Raul Jimenez's father, who is also called Raul Jimnez, he has been talking about Raul Jimenez's future with Wolves, and, you know, his father insists that his son is happy with Wolves. He's hoping to get, you know, Wolves Champions League places, and he's also looking to get, you know, Wolves Europa League places. But, you know, his father did confirm that his son is aware of the speculation, and, you know, Raul Jimenez knows himself, you know, the clubs that have been linked with him, and he is flattered by this, like also his father mentioned. Obviously, you know, we've been in for him. I think Arsenal have also expressed their interest. Raul Jimenez did recently say that, you know, he'd be interested in making a move to Liverpool, but Raul Jimenez suggested out earlier on this month that he is happy with Wolves and only would consider leaving Wolves if Real Madrid or Barcelona came knocking on the door. Now, the stories that have been coming out regarding Raul Jimenez recently, though, have been stemming from Duncan Castles from the Times, and Duncan Castles has said that Wolves have decided that they'll sell Raul Jimenez at the end of the season, and he did mention that Man United and Juventus are set to battle it out for his signature. And Duncan Castles, to be fair, tends to be reliable. Now, Raul Jimenez has made 67 appearances in the Premier League, and he scored around, 26 or 27 Premier League goals. He has got a contract with Wolves until 2023. Obviously, you know, this has been his second season with Wolves. You know, Wolves did pay £34 million for him, so he's Wolves' most expensive signing, I think. Obviously, you know, Wolves did have him on loan, but reflecting on how good he was on his loan spell, Wolves decided to get Raul Jimenez permanently. I think Raul Jimenez as well goes well in Wolves' team alongside the likes of Adam Traore and Diego Jota. George Mendes has been working with Wolves in recent years, and, you know, he's been working on Wolves getting an adequate replacement for Raul Jimenez. You know, don't forget Wolves have looked at Carlos Vinicius from Benfica. Also, too, my club, Man United, have been in for him. He said Wolves were willing to pay 53 million for Vinicius, maybe just a bit more, but Benfica have confirmed they're only willing to sell Vinicius if his £88 million release clause is triggered. So there you go. Obviously, you know, before Wolves, Raul Jimenez was at Benfica. He enjoyed a few years at Benfica. Before he was at Benfica, he was at Atletico Madrid for a few years. And before that, he was in America. He was in America's youth system. Now, I'd take Raul Jimnez at Manchester United if the opportunity was there because, like I mentioned, well, Premier League proven, hold-up play, very, very good. Hold-up play, very, very good. Doesn't really get any injuries as well. My only element of concern about Raul Jimnez really is that he is the age of 29. So if Manchester United were to sign him, you know, how many years would we get out of him? 2, 3, maybe 4 years. He would probably cost in the 50-odd or the 60-odd million pound range because Wolves would want to generate more money than what they paid for him. You know, they want to, you know, get quite a bit more than the £34 million that they did pay for Raul Jimnez. So maybe he will leave Wolves at the end of the season, but I don't see him coming to Manchester United. I really, really don't. And that. But don't forget, we've inquired about Raul Jimenez's availability before. So there you go. So that is the news on Raul Jimnez. Like I said, there's been a lot of other strikers on our agenda as well. Obviously, you know, you saw my video that I did yesterday night. I give you the news on Timo Werner from RB Leipzig. Again, same thing with Jimenez. Very, very sceptical that Manchester United are going to sign Werner. It is a possibility that he could come to Manchester United, but Werner has already revealed that his preference is to make a move to Liverpool. You know, Werner's already turned down a move to Bayern Munich, so Bayern Munich are out of the equation. You know, Werner give the 4 main explanations why he wants to go to Liverpool is because of Klopp, because back in February, Werner described Klopp as one of the best managers in the world, the teammates, the coaches, and the environmental offer. So this is why, you know, Timo Werner wants to go to Liverpool. You know, don't forget David Ornstein. He's from The Athletic. David Ornstein is a credible journalist, and he's been talking about, you know, Werner and Jadon Sancho recently and that. And he actually, you know, said that Werner will only leave RB Leipzig to join Liverpool either this summer or he'll stay at RB Leipzig until next summer, and then Liverpool may consider getting him then. But David Ornstein also did suggest out, saying that Liverpool may not make any signings in the summer transfer window. Obviously, you know, due to the uncertainty of the finances and that. But David Ornstein did reveal that, you know, Werner recently held personal talks with Klopp. You know, Werner's also had negotiations with Man United. He's been talking with Barcelona. Also, too, Chelsea have been in negotiations with his agent and that. You know, probably in the summer transfer market, you know, in reality, Werner'd be worth maybe 90 or 100 million pounds. But, you know, he's available for 52 million pounds. So he's a cheap solution. He's got a 52 million pound release clause in his contract with RB Leipzig. Obviously, it did say if Liverpool were to wait until the end of the season, then they'd get him cheaper if Leipzig do not win the Bundesliga title, because it said his release clause would drop from 52 million to 44 million pounds. Liverpool have recruited quite a few players in from the Bundesliga in recent years. They got Matip, they got Keita, they got Firmino from the Bundesliga. But I think for Liverpool to get Werner, they're going to have to sell one of their attacking trio in Salah, Firmino or Mane. So there you go. And that. But, you know, he's had quite a few good years with RB Leipzig. Another good thing about Werner, his versatility is very, very good, and he is a prolific goal scorer. But I don't think he's got any interest in coming to Manchester United or Chelsea, you know. But, you know, Leipzig are going to make, you know, decent profit on the play because Leipzig didn't pay around £10 million to him from Stuttgart. And that he was also very, very good at Stuttgart. You know, don't forget Werner became the youngest player to, you know, reach 200 Bundesliga appearances and that. So there you go. Obviously, you know the news on Moussa Dembele. It was all around the mainstream media last week saying, you know, we've reached a transfer agreement with Lyon for Moussa Dembele, and allegedly a £62 million fee has been agreed between Manchester United. What are you doing?
18, you bang.
Think to what?
Stop that. What fucking work? Fucking stinks.
Now we agreed a fee in the region of £62 million for Moussa Dembele and that. So, yeah, so you know the news on that. Kane fully disregarded Kane coming to Manchester United. That's not going to happen, you know, because obviously, you know, Tottenham said if they were to sell him this summer, they'd want around a world record fee of £200 million. Obviously, I think Tottenham are still paying their £1 billion stadium off. I think they still owe some money out in transfer fees. Not too sure what's going to be happening with Kane in the foreseeable future. If things don't plan out next season at Tottenham for him, that's when I think, you know, Harry Kane will leave. I really, really do, and that, you know. But, you know, we won't get Harry Kane, so he's fully out of the equation. So, yeah, there's been a lot of strikers on our agenda, but which striker should Man United sign? You know, Odion Ighalo. I don't think we're going to get him on a permanent transfer because Shanghai Shenhua came out the other week and said they'd want £20 million to let Ighalo come to Man United on a permanent transfer. Odion Ighalo's loan at the football club expires at the end of next month. You know, we paid around £4 million to get Ighalo on loan. I think his wages at Shanghai Shenhua are like £300,000 a week and stuff like that. You know, so I think we're paying like a third of his wages in that. You know, but they want £20 million for us to get him permanently. I think Solskjaer said, you know, he wants Man United to give Odion Ighalo a permanent contract. To be fair, Ighalo's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. 4 goals in 3 starts for the club and that. And he's been a good backup to Rashford. But, nah, I don't think we'll get him permanently. I think he'll probably make a return back to Shanghai Shenhua, if I am going to be quite honest with you in that. So there you go. Now, we're going to give you the news on Ballo, Toure from Monaco. Now, reportedly, Manchester United have identified Ballo, Toure as a summer transfer target, you know, to face competition, you know, for Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams, because Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams are the 2 left-backs we've got. Now, I've got to make an admission, you know, Luke Shaw's, you know, done very, very well since he came back from injury. You know, very, very good left-back, Luke Shaw. My element of concerns about Luke Shaw is that, you know, he's very injury-prone. Obviously, he's enjoyed some difficult spells as a Manchester United player and that. You know, Luke Shaw's now into his 6th season at Manchester United. 6th season now with the football club. You know, we paid around £30 million for him from Southampton. But, yeah, and Brandon Williams, you know, this has been his first season in the senior squad with Man United as Brandon Williams. Got to say, he's done very, very well. But, you know, he's in our first choice left back. Maybe next season or next couple of years, he will become our first choice left back. You know, Williams, when he does gain a bit more experience, because he is inexperienced at the moment. In reality, Manchester United don't really need a left back. But, you know, we've expressed an interest in Ballo, Toure. Now, he currently plays for Monaco. I think he's made around 45 appearances for Monaco in all competitions. Monaco did sign him in January 2019. So he's been at Monaco over a year now. I think they paid around £10 million for him from Lille. He enjoyed a couple of years with Lille. And before that, he was at PSG and enjoyed around 3 years in PSG's senior squad. Now, Duncan Castles has been talking about Ballo, Toure. He's been talking about it. You know, Duncan Castles, you know, was talking to the Transfer Window podcast, and he mentions that Man United are interested in Ballo, Toure. And he's said that, you know, Ballo, Toure is exceptionally quick, is a very powerful player, and if he believes he would be the right player for English football. This is what he said, and he also says that he's got very, very good character. He has got a contract with Monaco until 2023, because when he signed for Monaco, I think he signed a 4-year deal. You know, Monaco may be open to selling him. You know, Monaco have lost quite a few of their imperative players in recent years. You know, they lost all their best players, let's be honest, because was it a few years ago they won the League 1 title for the first time in like nearly 2 decades, or was it 2 decades? You know, they lost Mbappe, they lost Lemar, they lost Benjamin Mendy. Didn't they lose Bakayoko to Chelsea at one point? Lost Bakayoko, they lost Fabinho. So yeah, Monaco have lost quite a few of their imperative players in recent years. They really, really haven't that. So do you think Monaco would be willing to sell Ballo, Toure? Do let me know in the comments below. So yeah, so that is the latest news on him. You saw my videos that I did yesterday. I obviously give you the news on James Garner and Dylan Levitt. Reportedly, Manchester United are looking to loan both players out because of the signing of Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Paul Pogba's going to be back when the season resumes, but McTominay and Fred have been in scintillating form, so they're not going to get into the team of Garner and Dylan Levitt. Their appearances have been limited at the football club now. I was hearing that, Garner's been linked to a move on loan to Sheffield Wednesday. Garner's got a contract with us till 2022 with an option of a further year, and so too has Dylan Levitt. Now, Garner, I think, has only played twice in the senior squad for us. Dylan Levitt, I think he played in our 2-1 defeat to FC Astana. So we are looking to loan both of them players out. I do believe probably Tahith Chong will be loaned out as well, because his appearances have been limited at the football club. But we've got quite a few players out on loan at the moment. We've obviously got, Dean Henderson out on loan. He's on loan at Sheffield United. I think he's going to be loaned out again for next season. I don't think we're going to get rid of him permanently, because we see him as a long-term replacement for David De Gea, Dean Henderson. But we said the other week we have not yet decided on Dean Henderson's future. Dean Henderson's got a contract with the club till 2022. Obviously David De Gea is going to remain our number one goalkeeper, like, Manchester United have already confirmed. David De Gea has been our number one for several years in that. So there you go. Obviously, Sanchez is out on loan at Inter Milan at the moment. Sanchez is facing a dilemma because Inter Milan don't want him permanently. We don't really want him back at Manchester United. So I don't know what's going to be happening with Sanchez. I really, really don't. Obviously, we've got Smalling and Rojo out on loan. Smalling's out on loan at Roma. Rojo's out on loan at Estudiantes. We'll probably get rid of them on permanent transfers anyway. I don't think any of them will come back to the football club. We've also got Joe Pereira out on loan, by the way. We're going to be recalling Joe Pereira from his loan. I think he has been on loan with Hearts as Joe Pereira. So we have got quite a few players out on loan and that. But, I've also got rid of players on permanent transfers since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in. Obviously, Young left on a permanent transfer this year. He went to Inter Milan. We also saw, Darmian go permanently last summer. We also saw Herrera go permanently after he endured 5 years at the club. We also saw Marian Fellaini go. He was the first player to depart the club under the Solskjaer era. Fellaini endured 6 years at Man United, but in January 2019, he went to China, did Marian Fellaini. Lukaku left permanently last summer, and Valencia left permanently last summer after he endured 10 years at the football club and that. Like I said, Solskjaer's going to get rid of he's going to get rid of a good 6 or 7 players this summer, is Solskjaer. I think Phil Jones will go. Gomez will go. He's going to be leaving on a free transfer next month, is Angel Gomez. Because there's no signs of him signing a new contract, and his contract expires at the end of next month. We have put forward a few contract offers for Angel Gomez, but, he's just turned these contract offers down, and Angel Gomez's appearances have been limited at the football club. So let's just put that into the equation. He's only made 6 first team appearances this season. I expect, like I said, Smalling and Rojo to go on permanent transfers. Ballo could possibly leave the football club as well, because he's our backup right back to Wan-Bissaka. So there you go. Paul Pogba, there's still a lot of uncertainty over Paul Pogba's future and that, because there's still a possibility chance that he could leave the club in the summer. But I think, Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United for next season. I really, really do and that. So there you go. Like I said, we have revealed our transfer plans for the summer. We revealed our transfer plans. Obviously, Solskjaer's looking to make around 3, maybe 4 signings in the summer, because he believes we need around 3 or 4 signings to become title contenders next season. He still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British talents to Manchester United like he did do last summer. Obviously, the 5 players Solskjaer's recruited in, obviously, 3 of them were British players, are the 5 that he did recommend in and that. But, the 5 players he has recommended in so far have been absolutely exceptional. Solskjaer spent around £220 million on them 5 players. Now, like Solskjaer confirmed the other week, we will endure a different transfer window, you know, to our recent transfer windows. A lot of clubs in general anyway are going to face an unprecedented summer transfer window due to the financial issues with the coronavirus pandemic and that. Yeah, Ed Woodward's been talking a lot. You know, Ed Woodward did say quite a few weeks ago now that we won't do business as usual in the summer transfer market. You know, we won't spend hundreds of millions of pounds, and he basically ruled out big transfers to Manchester United. But Ed Woodward's made a transfer promise to Solskjaer. He's willing to back Solskjaer. He's willing to back Solskjaer. And he said quite a few occasions this season that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe at the football club. This is what, you know, Ed Woodward has come out and said, because Woodward has got a lot of trustworthy in Solskjaer. I think also too the Glazers are also willing to back Solskjaer. But I do believe Solskjaer does deserve at least a couple of more transfer windows. He does deserve at least a couple of more transfer windows, because he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team and that. And like I've said to you, I have taken positives so far from Solskjaer's tenure, and he has been here 17 months now. So he has been at the football club over here. Like I said, I think Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well. His approach to the big games have also been very, very good. Because we registered 17 points against the big six sides this season. We are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions and that. Don't get me wrong, like I've said, there's still things Solskjaer needs to work on. Maybe he needs to make a tactical change. Maybe, you know, he needs to work out his best formation, because he's been changing formation persistently this season. So these still things that he does need to work on. Got to say, you know, the signing of Bruno Fernandes definitely saved Solskjaer's job at Manchester United. Obviously, earlier on this season.
Fucking stinks in here.
Does it?
Fuck's sake.
Earlier on in the season, you know, very, very close to getting sacked. You know, there was talks Pochettino coming in, Massimiliano Allegri and that. So, there you go. But like I said, Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, you know, we have sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was Moyes, Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho and that. And in the last 6 or 7 years, you know, we have been playing catch-up. You know, we spent close to the £1 billion range on recruiting players in. Obviously, you know, we've recruited over 30-odd players, you know, since the Alex Ferguson era. But, you know, we haven't dominated football since the Alex Ferguson era. You know, don't forget Ferguson endured, 26 years at Manchester United. Obviously, you know, won a total of 38 major honours. You know, don't forget though, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club when we did recommend him in. And he was close to getting sacked. Obviously, you know, we've only been successful. Our success only came under Ferguson. Because obviously, you know, we had Ron Atkinson before Ferguson went good. You know, we had Franco Farrell, you know, got us relegated in 1974. Also, too, we had Wolf McGuinness. I think he endured 18 months at the club, only managed to recruit 1 player in that. So, there you go. But, you know, we've made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years as well. So, that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been where we should be and why we've been so inconsistent. You know, you can say we made a mistake by giving Solskjaer the job permanently, but we give Solskjaer the job permanently reflecting on what he did in that 3 months when he was the interim manager. You know, there's players that we've brought in over the years that, you know, we shouldn't have got rid of. So that's another mistake. I think we've recruited a lot of wrong players in. That's another mistake. I think, you know, Ferguson made a mistake by recommending, you know, David Moyes in. So, you know, the club have made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. But we have been criticised. You know, in recent years, you know, for how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also been criticised for, you know, overpaying for players and stuff like that. You know, so there you go and that. But I've highlighted this season, and I did say to, you know, Solskjaer hasn't only been the problem. You know, I said, you know, we're being very critical of Ed Woodward. You know, we've had a lot of doubts, you know, about the club's ownership, the Glazers and that. You know, but I've got to make an admission, I've seen changes under Solskjaer, and I think we've improved under Solskjaer in the transfer market. I really, really do. You know, we've been a bit more sensible with our recruitment, and Solskjaer's got the players that he wanted to recommend in and stuff like that. You know, so that's positive news. You already know the news on Jude Bellingham, don't you? Looking likely he's going to be coming in according to recent reports. We also want to get his younger brother as part of the deal as well. So let's just put that into the equation. You know, Sancho, you know, the news on him. You know, we're still looking to get Jadon Sancho in. You know, Grealish, you know, Villa want £80 million for Grealish. Villa refusing to lower their £80 million asking price. So Villa still want £80 million for Grealish, even if Aston Villa are relegated. So there you go on that. Like I said to you, not sure what's happening with the European games. Hopefully, you know, European games can resume because we're into the last 8 of the Europa League. And it's a chance for us getting some silver on the board. Plus the FA Cup. I heard the FA Cup was going to be scrapped. But, you know, we're into the quarterfinals of that. So there you go and that. But I want things to work out under Solskjaer. I don't know if he's the foreseeable future for Man United, but I want things to work out under him because it is a transition period, and like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period. On my video yesterday, I also give you the news on Corentin Talisio from Bayern Munich. You know, the news on him. We're seeing him as a possible replacement for Pogba. You know, Sol Niguez, you already know the news on him. Reports from Spain have said we're close to getting him, and a fee of around £70 million has been agreed. A lot of Manchester United fans don't believe there's a lot of trustworthy in that. It's just clickbait, basically. So, there you go. But Solskjaer's identified the areas in the squad where he wants to strengthen up. He wants to recommend a centre-forward and a right winger and a midfielder. There's still some reports emerging out saying that he wants to recommend a centre-half in. So, there you go. But like I said, we haven't mounted any kind of title challenge up for 7 seasons now because we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.